Are we live? Oh, we're live, Taras. We're live.
I'm not ready for this.
We're live. HotBuzz episode 2 is on the air. Okay, so this is HotBuzz episode 2. We are here with, of course, I'm Brian Garside from NorthIQ, and this is Taras. Is it Zubyak?
Zubyak.
Zubyak,
Yeah.
of Code Elves. It's hilarious. I know how to pronounce your first name, but not your last name.
Wow.
I was for the longest time the only person who knew how to correctly pronounce his first name.
That was pretty bad.
So today we are here with the show that talks about hot wings and hot marketing questions. So we're going to talk with Taras about his exciting marketing ventures. I should actually pull up the questions so that I can see them. So if anybody has any questions out there, we'll see those. All right, Taras, you ready to start with number one? Number one is a Frank's Red Hot, just your standard Frank's Red Hot buffalo wings. So you don't have to be afraid of this one.
Okay, I'm fine.
This one's fine.
Okay.
So let's cheers, maybe?
Sure.
Get this thing started. Boom.
Oh, man.
There's really nothing to
Okay, yeah. That's
I
fine.
gotta double down on the
Yeah, there's literally no heat in this one.
Number one needs to have a little more oomph, I feel.
I think you're over this level
Mhm.
at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, every episode you drop the bottom one and just introduce something. This
Well,
is
that's
the
a good
other
idea.
side. Yeah.
I don't know if you can go much higher than the top end, though. I was actually looking at Blair's Megadeth sauce the other day. All right, so question number one, Taras.
No.
Tell us a little bit about your business.
So, yeah, where do I start? So we're a software development company. Two primary focuses, web development and app development. We follow all the agile principles and work in kind of iterations with different clients. But the main difference between us and most of other development shops is that we're not just, trying to sell our services to them, but we're rather looking for long-term partnerships.
Right.
So in case if, for example, one of our clients succeeds, we pretty much succeed.
Right.
And we develop that long-term care and trust. So that's a big difference for us. But the whole thing actually started in 2013 when I went back to Ukraine, worked from there, and you were actually the one.
Me?
Yeah. So one day you just called me an elf.
Yeah.
Because things were basically happened overnight, and at that point I just thought, it's a good idea for a business maybe. Ride on that magic thing. So at that point I was like the first elf, and I already had the idea of starting the full team of elves, which turned into Code Elves in 2016.
That's awesome. So yeah, I used to call Taras my code elf because I would go to sleep at night, just like the story of the what is that, the cobblers, the cobblers elves. So I'd go to sleep at night and have some things that I needed done, and in the morning I'd wake up and boom, they were all done. And then I'd be able to talk to Taras in the morning, because I think like 8 o'clock in the morning was still...
It was like 3 p.m. in Ukraine, yes.
So we'd chat in the morning, my time, and then I'd go off to work, and he would be doing work while I was at work, and then I'd come home and it would be all done, and I'd be like, look at this, it's like magic.
It was quite interesting.
It
It was a good experience. At least at this point, most of our team is in Ukraine, and I actually realized how that works, and it's just pure magic.
Oh, so your accent's not Scottish?
No.
I thought it was. Oh, Ukrainian. That makes more
That's what
sense.
it is.
That's why you go to the Ukraine. Oh, that makes sense.
Every single year, right?
All right. Hot sauce number 2 is a Caribbean Scotch bonnet. It's from Pepper Palace. It's actually quite delicious. It's got a little bit of lemon juice, some lime juice, so it's a nice kind of mild hot sauce, and I think you'll enjoy this one.
I really hope so.
You don't have to be afraid until number 4. I see.
It's
really
really
mild.
pretty tasty.
Mm-hmm.
It has a little kick to it, but it's tasty.
It's mostly just my mom's joined us. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Brian's mom.
Yeah, I like that one. It's nice. There's a bone bowl there if you'd like to use it.
That's fine.
Question number 2.
Sure.
What are some of the interesting projects you're working on, if you're allowed to talk about them?
I am allowed to talk about some of them. So let me start from our mission statement, actually.
Okay.
Which is changing the world with software, one niche at a time.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we're doing at this point. We're picking a project from different niches that exist and kind of working on that one. So, for example, recently we worked on the project in the media industry, which was kind of like analyzing the behavior and personality of a person based on a short survey, and then providing them with a list of movies they would be interested in.
Cool.
Seems to be working really well. So that's one example. The other would be, so we're working with a couple of dental clinics to build some performance management software for them, which is kind of interesting as well. And that's like medical is a second niche that we're looking at. There are a whole bunch of other things.
There's a comic book niche, from what I understand.
There is one, which we're working on a daily basis with, but it's an established product.
Right.
That's why I didn't really mention it. It's not a project anymore. Right. It's just an established thing
built
that's
it,
out there. I did.
And so,
not by myself, though.
That's true.
One of my Code Elves as well.
So Taras and I have been working on Managed Comics now for 2.5 years, right?
How longer did that?
We started in November 2015. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when it launched. So I think we started building it in like June or July that year.
Probably. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe September. Because I didn't really get funding until September. Anyway, we took about 2 or 3 months to build it. We built it out. 2 years we iterated on it, made it better. And now it's like a full product. And last night at about 12 o'clock, we launched our latest iteration of it, which has special orders, which was really cool. So
I really hope you didn't break anything. I really hope. Yeah. It was a big one.
Move fast and what is it? Move fast and break stuff. Isn't that the motto?
Sure.
No, it was fun last night. And I love working with Taras just because he's easy to get along with. We communicate really, really quickly. And yeah, I think we do some pretty cool stuff.
I think so.
Number 3 is a local.
What are the interesting projects you're working on?
I can't talk about any.
None? Come on.
So NorthIQ has been doing. So it's interesting because I don't know if you remember when we first launched the business. I was building websites, and that was kind of like my key focus. But now website building is it's a byproduct of the more interesting thing, which is lead generation. So we help people generate more leads, and we do it in a way that no other marketing agency that I know of does. An example is one of our clients. We took them from when I first started working with them back October of last year. When I first started talking to them, they were getting about 75 leads a month, but those leads were unqualified, so they were just getting 75 leads in the door. And they were really focused on SEO, and they had an SEO company that was going in and optimizing their searches and stuff like that. So we changed the focus. So we changed it to, first of all, we rebuilt their website entirely. And we rebuilt their website with a focus on lead generation. So we have a 3-tier lead generation system that we use, and they've gone from 75 to 600 leads a month. And of those 600 leads a month, we qualify about 50 to 60 of them. So those are sales-ready leads who want to call. Wow. Now those 75 originally were just people that left their information. They may have wanted to call, they may not have. Whereas now we get so far down the line that we actually are at people that want conversations, and their sales have increased dramatically. So
that's cool.
That's kind of where we're moving towards, more of that. So I still build websites, but I kind of do it with an eye towards fixing the problems that I see that we can. Most websites don't have good lead capture mechanisms. They don't have good mechanisms after they capture a lead of nurturing those leads, and they don't have a real good way of taking a lead and making it sales ready. So that's kind of what we do.
Interesting.
So number 3 is a local hot sauce called Slimsmokin habanero. It is it's made here in London. I picked this up at I think I picked this up over at Farm Boy the other night. Yeah, London, Ontario. Manufactured by Slim's Pepper Co. So it's smoked habaneros, red peppers, white vinegar, lime juice, garlic seasoning. It's actually really tasty. I tried it last night. It's really a nice.
That's not
kind of
fair.
chunky.
You had to jump.
Well, I needed to know. Right? It's not fair. It wasn't inoculating. All right, this one's a little
Sure.
little more intense.
Okay, let's try it.
Surprising though, because it gives you this heat at the front.
Mm-hmm.
You get this nice little kind of like burn.
There's a good taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little spicier, not crazy yet.
Mm-mm.
There is like an after kick.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's what I find it interesting with.
That's actually a really good one. I like
Yeah.
to buy that one.
They've got like 3 or 4 different types too. I should. I'll make sure I tag them in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they've got like a ghost pepper one, which is really hot, and then a reaper one. But I might bring a couple more of those in.
No, from 5 wings to 10.
No, I'll cycle them. All right. Question number 3
Okay.
has to do with your marketing. So, what kind of marketing stuff are you doing? How are you getting new clients?
That's a big question. I think it consists of 2 actually. But we don't really do anything special for marketing. From my perspective, there are actually 2 parts to this. First one is just doing good work. So thankfully, we have at this point a pretty good reputation about the quality of work made by Code Elves. So that helps a lot in terms of marketing. And the other thing we do is pretty much on social media, we share what we are interested in.
That's cool. Yeah.
So instead of kind of like producing content for social media, we're just letting people know what interests us. So
Right.
whenever you read something cool online, just share it somewhere.
That's cool. So you're finding most of your clients right now through just referrals?
Yeah. So this is actually the second part of the question. At this point, so first year of the company, I was like trying really hard to find new customers,
Yeah.
right? And we had a customer base of like 3-4 clients who were just kind of keeping us alive. But at that point, once we started delivering products to them and started receiving good feedback, the word started spreading out in London and Toronto in particular. And now we're actually getting much more calls. So we're not really trying to find new clients every single day. We're like not spending time or money on that part. But like that somehow happens magically to us at this point, which I'm super happy about.
Yeah.
But like this is exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is a good time.
Just pretty much doing good work. That's all
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Yeah, and then getting referrals from that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is called Blueberry Plague Hot Sauce, and this one is kind of fun because it's got scorpion peppers in it. It's got blueberries. It's got honey. It's got coconut water, lime juice. So it has a really, really interesting flavor.
A lot of things.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, and I think you'll enjoy this one. Actually,
Like so far, it's been pretty mild, so I cannot complain. I was scared at the
It's
beginning.
not until the
but-
end that you're not going to have a good time. The last one.
So far, I'm enjoying this.
All right. So, Blueberry Plague is a sneaker. Starts out fairly mild, but then you get a little burn on the back of your throat.
Yep, it's happening.
If you were a newbie who didn't really like spicy, like, do you like spicy
I do.
food?
I absolutely love it.
So, if you were a newbie who didn't like spicy foods, how bad do you think this would be?
At this point, I would probably quit
Yeah.
and stop doing this. Yeah, I'd probably drink a lot of milk.
We haven't even touched our milk yet. I'm only drinking water.
Yeah,
I'm talking.
it's okay at this point. Like it's spicy. Like it actually, as you said, had a pretty big hit afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's manageable.
So
Like
this,
I'm not crying yet, so that's good.
this next question might be a little bit unfair.
Sure.
What would you say is your favorite or most interesting projects that you've worked on so far? You feel that now, though?
I do.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
like
it actually
it
burns
takes
right
about 30
here.
seconds. Yeah.
This question is unfair.
Yeah, I know, it's not
considering
fair.
that, like we work on a lot of projects together, but
None of yours, Brian. None of
like
yours.
Zeros. Oh man, favorite project. This is a really tough one. So something that I've been trying to do is, whenever we work as a team on a particular project, and I'm actually interested in this, I'm trying to somehow get on board of the actual product
right?
Potentially product owners, have a chunk of it or something like that. And something that happened to me over the last year is we worked on the lead generation platform.
Okay.
And as a team, of course, but I thought there was something bigger in it than just a project or just potential client. And I actually decided to, jump on board and do work on that project as one of the co-owners.
Right. Is that
the visitor queue?
Visitor queue, yeah.
I just think there's just something about it.
I agree.
had that feeling, and I was like, I had to invest my time and passion into it. So that was an interesting one. So speaking of something that we're working together on is the managed comics.
Right.
This is actually something that's very special to me because that was the project that started our journey as the Code Elves. And as you know, it's like I'm super busy doing all these other projects for all these clients, but after 5 p.m., managed comics is my priority personally, and I kind of work on this because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So they're like two separate things to it. One is the business perspective where I care about products and I care about growing the company and investing, etc. But there is another side of things like having fun and enjoying what I do. And that's what happens in evenings pretty much every single day with managed comics since like 2015.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. That's makes me happy.
I'm happy that you don't hate it. Well, if I hated it, I would probably not do it.
Just stop answering my phone calls.
Probably. At least the magic comics related
that's right.
ones.
That's right. Oh, what's that? You have a question with something? Okay, yeah.
Start your email subject with the product name, and then we'll go from there.
You know what's funny? I think about this question for myself too. Like, what's my favorite thing? And managed comics is my favorite just because I get to do all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the one where I like experiment with crazy things. Like the one day I was just like, "Hey, Taras, can you, if I set up a DigitalOcean WordPress account, can we direct info dot?" And I can't remember. Did I set that up myself without? I think I did, didn't I?
You've set up the WordPress side. We just needed to do a little forwarding from the main system.
The forwarding, yeah. So I'm really good at this point with WordPress, and we had struggled for a long time to update just marketing collateral and stuff on the regular website. And so setting up WordPress was just like, God, I think I can do this on my own. I think I know enough about the networking side to get it set up, and I think this would actually make a lot of sense. So I set it up. Wasn't it like, I feel like it was like a Saturday night or something.
It was something overnight.
It was something dumb, and I just set this thing up and I started plugging in some content. I plugged in a bunch of the stuff that we had on the site, and then I asked Taras just to do some redirects so that people logged out to Managed Comics would go to this info.managedcomics.com site. And I've learned so much about like email marketing and email automation. We've built an entire system behind the scenes that transfers information from MailChimp to HubSpot and HubSpot back to MailChimp. And
really?
Like there's all these connectors that we've built now that we can reuse for client work. So it's like I'm doing all this work for free on my spare time, but it's got a real benefit because I'm so passionate about doing it. I'm doing stuff that I might not be as passionate about if I was doing a client job, and I'd just be like, yeah, okay, I'll do this. Whereas like this is like, I want to do this because I want to solve this specific problem. And I want to spend as little of my own money as possible, so I'm going to do it in this way. And like for a client, I might say, if you spend $500, you can get this. Whereas for myself, I'm like, well, if I can save $500, I'll do it this way. And I usually treat clients' money like it's my own, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of it. But sometimes my time at my rate is more valuable than that $500 one time, right? But as we start to build these little connectors, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we can do this stuff for free. Or in one case, like we have to pay for a $20 connector that connects things together. But it's like $20 instead of before where it was going to be like $500 a month recurring for these
work just one time. Yep,
So
absolutely.
yeah, like Craig says he's passionate about client work. I am too. I don't get me wrong. Oh, client, I'll do your thing. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is like it's often cheaper for me to suggest them a technical solution than it is for me to suggest that I spend 12 hours of my own time working on something. So this way I'm spending that 12 hours of my own time, but I'm not spending it for the client, and they're benefiting it from in the long run.
Something I forgot to mention about managed comics, though, is that like nowadays I spend most of my time just doing some business related things, just something dumb that I like, something I'm not used to. Yeah, some boring.
Respond to an email or send an invoice
all day long. And managed comics gives me the opportunity to go back to my roots and actually do some coding, which I just love.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not doing every day, but from time to time I love it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like I our next hire, so we're hiring a unicorn right now, is somebody that's going to take a lot of that kind of stuff off my plate.
Unicorn.
I've got a pretty good track record of finding unicorns.
But unicorns are magical, right? And this kind of relates to what Code Elves are, right?
Right.
It's that magic. I can't believe that in like 2018, for some people, software is still like magic, right?
I know.
And this is something we actually also used in kind of our marketing, which I wouldn't really call marketing. Like that magic is what we can deliver to people and make them happy.
Yeah.
Which is just amazing.
That's the same with so Craig and I mean we've posted a couple blog posts about that, about how magic is often just something that somebody doesn't want to explain what they're really doing, which is suspicious to me. Like I'm always suspicious of somebody that says, oh yeah, I can do that, and you say, well, how are you going to do it? I can't tell you because it's a proprietary secret. It's like, well, unless you're making KFC's secret recipe, nothing you say is a secret, right? So we believe in sharing what we do and like explaining how we do it. And my favorite thing is when a client's light bulb goes off and they're like, I get it. Oh my God, yeah, that makes sense.
That's one light bulb, and the other one is when they actually see the product.
Yeah.
Especially after the first iteration of the release, they're like, "Wow, this is just unbelievable. We could have done this in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just no way." And
I love those
Absolutely.
comments. It's like that fills me with joy.
That's why we do what we do.
All right, my friend, this one's...
I'm not ready for this because the previous one is still burning.
Yeah, it's not going to get better. So, all right, this is, I'll tell you what this is actually. This is the Lethal Dose. The Lethal Dose is from Pepper Palace, and it is habanero peppers, vinegar, tomato paste. It's got some capsicum, some Jolka peppers, some scorpion peppers, some Reaper peppers.
There's too many peppers.
Yeah, there's not nice peppers in here. These peppers are all kind of dicks.
They're really scared at this point.
So. Well, nothing to do now except cry. So
I'm not gonna cry on camera.
Cheers.
I'll do anything I can.
Oh, this is gonna suck. All right, here we go. Not too bad, right? Nothing to it at all.
Not yet. Oh God. Now it's starting.
No, it's just mild.
Why? You've been asking me all these questions today. I have the only one for you. Why? And why me? Oh God.
Because I like you. You should see what I do to people I don't like.
Oh, this is bad.
All right, last question is...
I might answer something stupid.
Actually, I might have two more questions for you. But
sure.
One question is, how do you find working remotely with a team that's overseas?
One sec. Oh, Jesus.
This is mean.
It is. Oh.
So what?
Well, remote work is something that I've been really passionate about since 2013.
So when you were working...
When I was in Ukraine.
Right.
And you were here.
This is not nice.
Oh, God. This is so tough to answer right now. So, I was really passionate about it because it worked really well. It gave me the opportunity to be where I was at that point, and I really enjoyed that part. But I was always also able to deliver what you expected from me, which was great. But then, I read a book called Remote by DHH.
Yep. So that's David Hannemeyer Hansen.
Yeah, I cannot pronounce that. Yeah, that guy.
Basecamp.
And basically, it opened up my eyes to how good remote work is and what kind of opportunities it gives.
Right.
And I just decided to implement it at that point. And it's been working really well. We definitely struggled at the beginning because, first of all, hiring people is more difficult.
Right.
Because you don't have that personal relationship with the person. You cannot sit down and talk to them, look in the eyes, and kind of like figure out what kind of person that is.
Right.
So a lot of that is about referrals. But second part is like that feeling of distance. I can actually really feel it, and it's really hard to be close with the team at the same time. But tools like Slack
Right.
or Skype or any other communication tool give you the opportunity to get to know people better. And those kind of borders and distances just go away with the help of those tools.
Oh, I just got some pepper right in the back of my throat.
Oh, God.
There's I know, right?
Yes, it's really bad.
There's a vanilla porter there, which I find really helps, and the milk sometimes helps quite a
I'm not a
bit.
fan of milk, but let's go with the porter.
Why are you trying to kill a prodigy? Sometimes I try and kill unicorns. That's what I do. Oh my gosh, HotBuzz is how I should do all my interviews.
You should. You would definitely figure out that person's like abilities right
true.
there.
It's funny because remote work has interested me since we started, well, like way back when we were doing the Balance 2 stuff.
Yep.
Same thing, and to me, it was interesting how well we still communicated and how much communication there was. Like I think that you and I probably communicated more consistently than I did with the people that I was working with 24 hours, like 8 hours a day.
Yeah, and it's that part about all the meetings, right? You can work in the same town, in the same office, and waste at least half of your day in the meetings that could have been summarized in like a couple of minute message on Slack or an email.
Yep.
And deliver the same amount of information and get the same feedback.
Yeah.
So it's it's positive from the productivity perspective, but it also gives you, some people want to just work by themselves.
Yeah.
Like that gives them the opportunity. But I'm not saying that remote should be the only way companies work, right? So for example, we have the office in Ukraine where our team works together whenever they feel like it.
Right.
So having that choice to either stay at home and work when you feel like working versus going 8 to 5 every single day just because you have to, that brings a big difference.
So do they work in the office a lot, or
They do actually. They do work in the office a lot, which is great. They want to communicate, and that's fine. Having some fun with the rest of the team, right?
Right. So when you go down to the Ukraine, because you usually go like over Christmas, what kind of things do you do with your team?
So I've been in Ukraine
Yeah.
only once since we established the whole company.
Really?
Right?
You were
Yeah.
there last?
I was last year, but at that point we were just hiring the team.
Okay.
But at this point, this year, it was the first time we were actually celebrating our first year anniversary.
Right.
So it was a lot of fun. It was definitely interesting to get to know people better. It's like I knew all of them from that communication tools, but I didn't know them personally.
Right.
And that actually opened up the opportunity to get to know them, which was definitely amazing. Like going out, having fun, having a party, having a couple of shots, having a couple of beers, but like that happens in every single organization. So having that opportunity at least once a year or a couple of times a year is just crucial for the team.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be every single day.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, you've got more cool Code Elves gear than I have NorthIQ.
Right there. Code Elves. V-Code Magic. That's
Magic.
right.
I don't even have a NorthIQ T-shirt because
Actually, thanks to my teammates for this sweater. Love it.
Craig won't let me have a T-shirt.
It's not on the budget.
I was going to ask you, so hypothetically, where do you see Code Elves in 5 years?
In 5 years, that's a tough one. At least that thing is slowing down, like
I know,
calming down. Yeah, in 5 years, this is a really good question. I'm thinking about it like every single day,
Right.
and I still don't know the clear answer to that
Yeah.
question. So, in 5 years, I really hope we will have at least 5 different products owned by us, primarily, in different niches, as I said at the very beginning. So 5 is the magic number for me. Hopefully 3 of those 5 succeed after those 5 years. But that's what I want. I want to really switch focus from being like a customer service organization to like owning and standing up for our own products.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
How big do you see your company getting?
That's a tough question as well. I don't think I'm ready for it to grow a lot.
How many people do you have right now?
So right now our team is at 9 people.
Okay.
In 3 different countries, Canada, Ukraine, and Italy. But so hopefully in 5 years we'll be around at 20 people. I don't see us growing further than that. I just think there's just all that bureaucracy and all that document stuff and all those rules that coming up with like larger organizations, which I don't really feel like I don't want to deal with that. Even though like you can hire people to manage all that stuff, but I like that feeling of like small families, a small group of people who you know every single person there and you can relate to them. That just builds a better team. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I don't want a very big team for us either. Like I'm thinking 10 people is kind of my ideal size because it lets you tackle the bigger projects, but also keeps you nimble and not doing crazy things.
Yeah, the reason why I said 20 is that kind of relates to the having 5 products.
Yeah.
You always need to have support people or just fixing things, talking to potential customers of those products. So you need to have people, but definitely not. I don't want the whole, you know how some organizations have sales departments to sell the product. I want the product to sell itself. Like I want the same thing as I said about our services where those good reviews about us, that good word that spreads out in London and Toronto about us brings new customers. I want that to also work for products.
Maybe you need a marketing organization that could provide you with marketing automation. I wonder if there would be one around.
In 5 years. I hope there will be.
So, it's funny because as I'm starting to think about, so our next hire is a unicorn. So we're hiring somebody that is going to be, my ideal hire is somebody that's like a designer with development sensibilities. So they understand design and they get development, like enough development to get by. Kind of like I am, like just enough development to be dangerous.
More a designer than a developer?
Yeah. Somebody that can kind of get into WordPress and get into the guts and do a little bit of stuff, but not somebody that's like a hardcore designer or developer, I mean. But then after that person, like, I think, and Craig and I talked about this quite a bit, like is our next hire actually that person, the unicorn, or is it customer service? Because that's the thing that we're struggling the most with right now is like this morning I looked at my inbox at noon and there were 35 emails in it, and I don't know how, because I spent an hour doing work and all of a sudden there's like 20 emails in that hour.
And being that support person or having that support person, to my mind, is like the most important.
Oh yeah,
because like
absolutely.
Caring about your existing clients, retaining them, is just crucial to your business. You cannot just live off acquire side of your business because it's just impossible. Those people who already work with you are your like foundation for your organization. Yeah,
and what we really need more than anything is somebody just to be like, hey, you need to follow up on this email right now. Like, that's kind of the intent of email, but your next hire is a customer success unicorn. Ooh, I like that. I like that term, actually. I like that term.
Unicorn with like headphones on.
You know what's hilarious is like in like the mainstream tech world, terms like unicorn and ninja and guru and rockstar, they're all like, oh, this is all but like that's the people I want to hire, because like to me a rock star is like the best of the best, the top 2%, and a ninja is like somebody who can just is really, really highly skilled, and a unicorn is something you just don't find very often. It's a very rare thing, right? Well, maybe ever, right? But I've managed to find unicorns throughout my career. Like I've always hired unicorns, and I hire people. So years ago, and this is actually a good thing for you to read. Years ago, I read Valve Software's. They're the guys that made Half-Life and all those games. So they had their employee handbook is online. You can find it really, really easily. Even though it used to be a little bit harder to find, you had to torrent it. But now Valve has actually made it kind of available. But the thing that stuck with me most about their handbook, and their handbook is great because it has everything about like rules for working in teams, and their teams are constantly evolving and changing. Their desks are actually completely mobile, and this is like 7 or 8 years ago, where their desks all had wheels and independent power supplies. So when you want to move, right, and these are workstations too, right? Like they're hardcore computer workstations. So you power everything down, and you'd move it to who your new team was. You didn't have to ask permission from a manager. You dynamically created teams based on what you needed. So if you're working on a game and you need a graphic designer and a couple of programmers, you guys just hang out together. You just reconfigure your desk so that you're together.
I really like how Craig already posted a link to the handbook.
Valve Employee Handbook. Nice, Craig. Good work. But the thing that stuck out the most to me, and I included this in our blog post about hiring a unicorn, was hiring T-shaped individuals. So their thing was, if you hire, so a T-shaped individual has a broad set of skills, and then they're a deep specialist in one area. So if you hire like that, if you just hired broad set of skills, you'd have nobody who was specialized in anything. And at some point, you kind of reach the limit of your broad knowledge of skills. If you only hire specialists who don't have a broad, then you've got a bunch of people, okay, this guy can only do SQL, and this guy can only do, and it's kind of the way that things were back in the old days, right? Like when programming first started, you had, database specialists, and you had front-end specialists, but the way I've always hired is I want a broad set of skills, so I want people that can do a variety of things, and then I want everybody to have one T. So the pillar of my T, for example, has always been, it's like, I call it like kind of James Cameron-ish. I see big pictures, and I know how to fit those big pictures together. So that's kind of my skill is like, okay, I see the big picture, and I see what's unimportant. So, and I'm pretty darn good with graphic design. So that's probably my big depth. But my breadth is like, I can understand code enough to code, although I shouldn't. I understand. And I can understand design enough to do like pretty intricate design, although again, I probably shouldn't because I'm not great at it. And kind of everything in between. And that's kind of the people I've hired. And then I hire a bunch of people with really, really strong pillars. And then what you end up with is this incredibly solid organization because you've got all these pillars that support each other, right? So yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice is when you're hiring, ask them if they're what their broad skills are and what their specialty is.
That's a good point. Thank you.
And what they're really passionate about. That's my.
It's still burning.
Really?
It is. My lips are burning.
I'm not even selling it now. Craig, you'll be proud of me. I'm completely fine this time.
This is not your first time.
I barely even shut down. No, this is actually my fourth. So I've done this a couple times off camera, just to try and get up my immunity to it. Because the first time was not good. Leanne, I challenge you to try the lethal dose. It's over 1 million Scoville. It's not terribly fun.
Maybe you should call me weak.
Maybe. All right, well that's going to do it. Do you have any more questions for me, Taras, before we sign off here? Lance says, "Bring it on."
I don't know. I usually ask you questions right away as soon as I have them.
My favorite thing. Oh my god, it's my favorite thing ever. You used to always ask me, "I have a small question."
Yeah.
I have a small question for you, and then it would be 5.5 paragraphs.
But wait, you made the small question turn into whole big picture. I had literally a yes/no question.
I have a small question for you. 7 paragraphs later. Oh god, I love it. All right, well that's going to do it for HotBuzz. So he says. Mark says, in your next podcast, you're just going to punch yourselves in the face because that's what super hot food is like for me. Oh, Mark, you'd love this. It's good times. Actually, 1 through 3 are pretty gentle, so we're actually I think we're gonna raise the bar on 1 and 2 especially. But number 4 is a little bit lingering, and number 5, lethal dose, is just not friendly. But I'm gonna get Dave's insanity in there somewhere at some point.
My favorite was the blueberry one.
Blueberry one has such a nice taste, and it's really, really spicy.
It was like sweet at the beginning, and then it turned into a whole bunch of heat afterwards.
This one, believe it or not, I got at Sobeys.
Ah.
And it was like $6. Like it's the best deal. It's a great deal. So that's going to do it for HotBuzz this month. Next month's HotBuzz is going to feature Heather Gunn of A-Team London. And we are going to be challenged with a couple new contenders. I'm going to try and at least bring in one new hot sauce every month to kind of kick out somebody that's a little bit lower down the spectrum. And that's going to do it. Thank you very much, Ross.
Thank you, Brian, for inviting me.
Good to see you. All right. Peace, everyone.
Cheers.
Oh, I didn't hit the button.
No.
How does one?
It doesn't work.
I literally
technology.
can't. I can't turn it off.